Race 7 of the BMW IBSF four-man bobsleigh World Cup. We're in Winterberg in Germany, and after a snowy start to the day, conditions remain nice and clear for the final trip down this Winterberg track of 3 this season for the four-man. Hello everybody, welcome back. Martin Haven and John Morgan getting ready to watch the final action play out here. And as ever, John, we have an entertaining race on our hands.
Yeah, Team Lochner, he didn't make the cut in Altenburg. They had that mishap at the start. Shocking. He's got 2 medals already this year, but Martin, he needs to start getting on the podium on a regular basis. Been inconsistent for him, and he's in 3rd, but he's chasing down. In fact, he's tied to the 100th of a second with Team Cripps. This is a very experienced team. 2 of these guys had birthdays this week, including Cripps. And Cripps, you know, he's 2nd in World Cup points. He just keeps bringing it every time down the track. But as usual, everybody's chasing this guy named Friedrich, who's won every race this year. He's won like 24 out of 25 races over the last 2 years. He does everything right from the start, although he didn't have the best start in the competition. That was surprising. But the bottom part of the track, he's in no man's land, Martin. He's 20 hundredths up, which is pretty shocking in a 4-man race on this short track.
Yes, it is. We have a tie for 2nd. Cripps and Lochner, 700s ahead of Brad Hall. That's probably where the medals will come from, but Maxim Anjanov and Hunter Church not that far away either. What about Chris Spring? He had a good first heat. Rostislav Gajtukovic narrowly leads Oskars Kibermanis. Then a little clutch. Iva de Brun in 10th needs a top 8 finish to guarantee that the Dutch will allow him to go to the games. They have a slot, but he has not yet achieved that mark. He could do it here today. There are a lot of pressure situations going on. Roman Heinrich, clearly not fit, didn't make the cut despite not having to sit in the sled, but they did not have a great run. Well, Francesco Friedrich is the man that everybody is chasing, as so often is the case. There's Lamindine's sled. Run fast, shoot straight, drive on. That's one of the mottos on his sled. He will be the second sled off the top of the hill, and that man, Francesco Friedrich, will be the last. Well, the Canadians with plenty of fire in the hold as well, battling for a silver medal, potentially, with Johannes Lochner. Lochner won here 4 races ago, race 2 in the 1920 season. We've done a lot of 2-man, a lot of double 4-man races here, very little 2-man in the last few seasons. We are triple 4-manning this year. Well, here's the entry list. Mihai Tentea of Romania will be first to go as we work from 20th down to 1st. The leader goes last to keep the suspense alive, just in case, and it does happen, Francesco Friedrich makes a calamitous mistake and hands it off to someone else. Doesn't happen often. Let's not hold our breath. Final sleds in action here in Winterberg, Germany, race 7 of the 4-man bobsleigh World Cup. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching Romania's Mihai Tentea. He had to sit in the 2-man race yesterday, but they got a decent enough start to get him into the field in the 4-man.
Well, they only had to beat one team, and surprisingly, they did beat the French team. But yeah, Tentea has been nursing some kind of a lower leg issue. You know, like many athletes, Martin, these people are starting to become wounded as we approach the Winter Olympic Games. It's been a long season, and you know, it's tough to maintain your physical stature when you're dealing with being on ice in October and sprinting and weightlifting and training and colds and flu. He's another example of an athlete entering the Olympic Games wounded, and he will be wounded by the training.
That's been the case in every single Olympics ever. This one is different, and Tokyo is different because there is another factor that you cannot do anything to control, and that is COVID. No Benny Meyer here. His crew have tested positive, not all of them, but some of them, and that's enough. So he doesn't get to race here. He won't get to race perhaps in St. Moritz as well, depending on when the negative tests start coming in. But that's another element. We may see sleds qualified to go to the games, but with athletes that test positive who can't go in.
They get there. Boy, the guy on the right's running too far. He should have been up waiting. Now they get in, but they get down pretty good. Little scramble drill. I won't give them an A. I'll give them a B+ on the entry to the sled. But first guy down, and this youngest guy in the field. He's been the youngest guy in the field since he came out 5 years ago. He's still only 23 years old.
Well, next up, Lamin Dean, one of the veterans of the sport. Rugby player Sam Blanchett, Luke Dawes, and Olympic long jump champion Greg Rutherford on the back of the sled. Rutherford injured a shoulder earlier in the winter, lifting sleds around, and that is one of the potential problems of being a winter sports athlete, is stuff that happens away from the track, but gets his start here. Again, 19th after the first heat. They need some speed in this second run.
Well, 38 the first run, that's a 19th best start. 29 here, very inconsistent, Martin. From 5:38 to a 5:29. I mean, you know, he should have had 5:29 in both runs. If he would have had that better start in the second, he would have had 10, 1500s up. He might have moved up 3 or 4 spots. But Lamin's been hanging on, hasn't made many cuts this year. The guardian of the queen, as we call him, and you know, the British still have a chance. He's still trying to qualify a second sled, Martin.
Yeah.
And, you know, in combined points, they have a chance.
There is a spot. The question is whether or not the British Olympic Association allow him to go, or British Bobsleigh Skeleton Association. And a really good result here and or in St. Moritz would definitely help. 900 top on Mihai Tentea. That's not much considering he had a bigger first round advantage. It's not going to move him far up the order.
A little faster in the second run, but the, you know, 800's faster. But the start is 900's faster, Martin. With that faster start, he should have made some hay with that. You know, this curve through 9, tap there, tap on the left. You know, you want to feather yourself through that curve 9 to 10, that transition. Aerodynamics, not bad. Saw the brakeman's head bouncing around a lot in there. You see a white helmet there. You know, it's tough finding a way to fit these large human beings into these little bathtubs, but most teams do.
Well, here's another Switzerland. Yeah, but
another wounded athlete.
Despite sitting in, what a great job his crew did to get him a 20th fastest start, not the slowest start in the field. Adrian Fester, Fabio Badraun back after 3 years away, and Andreas Haas. Get in, get down, 5:44, quicker than their first.
I'm sure the coach told them, listen, you're pushing your driver sitting in. Do not do more than you normally do. The same number of steps, just get in, just be normal. A lot of times guys try and over-push there, and then you can really have a big mistake with hitting the wall in curve 1. So it is what it is. Make do with what you got.
That's part of it. The other thing is, the Olympics are a month away. Don't get hurt pushing a driver who's sitting in. We'll take whatever the result is. We'll still get points for 21st, but don't get injured.
Yeah, he's got a 1500s deficiency at the start. He's trying to catch him 1000s to 12. He's not going to do it.
Well, going to drop a couple of spots here, so he'll be third at the line. Still a top 20 result sitting in. Lamin Dean stays in the leader's box.
Points.
Luke Dawes for Greg Rutherford. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why are points important? Points is where you go in the first seed. And I think the winner of the World Cup, I think he goes first, which means he'll go 4th in the Olympic Games. That's the way they started off. You know, and not a bad run, but the start time, you know, he's 1500s back at the start to sleds that he was real close to. They're only separated by hundreds, and you give up that much time in the start, a 1200-meter track. Look at him limp. Simon, get healthy.
He's going to have to sit in St. Moritz, you feel. But what needs must. There are bigger fish to fry this year. Li Chunjian of China, he was a second off the lead. He's got a quarter of a second advantage over Lamin Dean, our current leader from the first heat. Ding Song, New Boy, Ye Jilong at 3, and Shi Hua at 4.
Li's 25 years old, from Shanghai, track and field. All of the Chinese athletes and all of their bios that we see, no soccer players. Every one of them comes from track and field.
Well, imagine
So
what the pitching is going to be like in the summer in China. It's going to be off the scale.
And today's their best performance in four-man yet. Although we did see was it this Chinese athlete or the other one who got 7th in St. Moritz last year in his debut? Which one is this? Lee or is it?
It was Lee, yeah.
Yeah, 7th last year in St. Moritz. Shocked us, but you know the women. We talking about the women. The women were in 2nd place into the first heat yesterday. There was a little thing about this morning. There's a little thing about the tracks getting faster when the sleds came later, but still, the women have made a statement the last few weeks, and the men have made a statement. They've already won a gold medal in men's skeleton, so Martin, the X factor is going to be, there's one of the X factors right there, their coach, Pierre Lueders. But the 1,000 trips that they had on that track last year, what will home track advantage? It might be the biggest home track advantage ever in an Olympic Games competition.
Yeah, youngest nation in the sport, and to host a game, certainly, and they have a huge advantage. And Lee there outdrove Lamindine quite happily from 2,500s up to 4,700s, nearly double his advantage. Yeah,
we weren't talking about how good a run he had. I mean, the start time, you know, it's middle of the pack. The starts will improve. As 4 years from now, they'll be a dominant power of the sport, I predict.
Yoon-Jin Suk from Korea, he knows what a home games is all about. Raced in Pyeongchang. Lee Seon-woo, Jan Ki-kun, his two-man brakeman, and Kim Tae-yang, who is a newcomer to the team, making his World Cup debut, just 21 years old, the brakeman.
Martin, there's a 2018 Pyeongchang Olympic Legacy Foundation Fund, and they've provided funds to teams like Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia. They're on the America's Cup Tour, and the points are such. Cambodia's right in the bubble. Vietnam looks pretty good at qualifying a sled to the Winter Olympic Games. That is, I just can't believe it. You would have told me
it's an
2 years ago.
astonishing legacy, isn't it?
Vietnam will be in the Olympic Games with bobsleigh. What? That tells you how good what Monobob means to our sport.
Yeah, Monobob, and that funding from the Pyeongchang Legacy Foundation. Well, he's dropping behind, 1900s back. He's only going to drop one spot behind Lee. Best speed
Lee
at
had
the
a
bottom.
great run.
Yes, he did.
Lee had a great run. Look at him. Now they're figuring out how to hang out in the winner's box, how to respond to the camera. They're starting to get cued into this sport. Chinese
It is getting real, isn't it? It is getting real.
Yeah.
We are less than 30 days away from the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing. Just imagine what all of those Chinese athletes and coaches are feeling, John.
Well, little apprehension, some of them, and you know, some of them are still in the bubble for qualifying, and it's pretty interesting, very interesting, Martin, as things develop. Not a bad run, but Suk, I mean, but he's behind the Chinese.
Chinese New Year, 1st of February. So I wonder what that promises for them. Next up, though, is Mikko Vogt of Switzerland. 2 Swiss sleds in our first 5, and he hits the wall into 0. A disaster.
Not good. They tried to push too far. They needed a better start. I mentioned it in the first run. When was the last time we saw 2 Swiss sleds, less than a month before the Olympic Games, outside the top 10 of a 4-man race? In my career, never. Really caught my attention. Not that these guys are bad performers. These are top 10 performers. One of them's hurt. The other one had a bad heat. First heat, he had a worse second heat. Now the question is how he's going to fall 3 or 4 spots because of that mishap.
Yeah.
This is the worst performance by the Swiss in a 4-man race in my broadcast career. That goes
right
back
now, he is in danger of dropping behind Mihai Tentea, and the Swiss, he is tied with Tentea. The 2 Swiss sleds will be the final 2 sleds in the field unless someone crashes.
Crashing. 18th and 19th of 20 sleds. I'm telling you, this nation if you look at who's won all the Olympic medals, of course, it's the Germany, the combined team. Look at the mistake here.
And the driver's push bar digs into the ice as well. I mean, that's adding insult to injury.
I mean, you know, then the driver's in there trying to compose himself. One step too far, somebody ran, they couldn't get settled. And when you do this, they put that little zero corner in, Martin. It used to be a straight shot to the first curve.
Well, that's when they built this huge, great start building, isn't it? They had to join the track up to the building. All right, well, disastrous day for the Swiss, but let's see what the Chinese can produce. Li Chunjan in the leader's box, Sun Kai-chi, his arch rival and teammate at the start block. 5:23, he wants to hold on to this 4-position advantage he's got over his teammate, but the best he can do at the moment is be 1 spot in front of him.
His teammate, Lee, he's got a top 10 finish in Moritz last year.
Yep.
I don't think he's got better than a 14th, 15th ever. So he's shooting for his personal best, not to mention beating his teammate.
His previous personal best was a 21st place in Calgary 2019. And this is his first World Cup race on this track. It's Lee's third World Cup.
How the Chinese are just climbing up this leaderboard.
Yep.
He's going to be the leader, Mark. This is a great run.
Yeah. Second best speed. Zero experience here. Well, they afford their teammate 2 big thumbs up from Pierre. Yeah, he is, isn't he?
He knows what he's doing.
These kids would have known what a bobsled was when they were recruited from their various different sports, and he's making an Olympic team out of them.
You got Looters at the top of the track. He won the gold medal in '98. So from '98 to 2010, there was a total of 4 Olympics, 8 gold medals. The guy at the bottom, Andre Longo, won 4 of those medals. So the 2 coaches of the 10 gold medals, they won 5. It's
perfect, good cop, bad cop. You make a good start to get away from the yelling of Pierre Luders into the welcoming arms of Andre Langer at the bottom.
There's Andre Langer. There he is. 4 gold medals from that guy right there, 2002, 6, and 10. That's quite a coaching staff.
It sure is. Next up, Yoon Jong-won of Korea, our Olympic silver medalist 4 years and 1 month ago, or not quite 4 years ago. Kim Jong-young at 2 was on that crew. Kim Jong-young, he's the new boy. Ooh, and clatters the wall. They're all making the mistake of running it too far.
Too far. You know, you get a little too ambitious there. It's still about precision, getting in, being settled before that zero curve. He's only got 300ths now. You know, this is the Olympic silver medalist. And, you know, here he is trying to beat a Chinese sled at the bottom. 2 Chinese sleds at the bottom. He's down at 200, so he sort of stopped the bleeding. Second best speed. This guy is really improved in 2-man over the last couple weeks, Martin. And 300s, he's starting to pull away. Now he's starting to pull away. That was great lines out of curve 9. Here but he must have made a mistake between 9 and 10.
Good speed though from 1.
It's close.
Turned over by a driver who has done 51 4-man World Cups fewer and won Olympics fewer than Yoon Jong-won. No wonder Sun punches the air. And crucially for Sun,
where did he make the mistake go?
That's another sled between him and Lee. I don't know.
This was into 9. Here he had a 300ths lead. Looked a little late there, but still shouldn't have been penalized for that. The crossover, then this is down at the bottom. This is it. Watch this big hit here.
Yeah.
If they show us the back end of the sled here. Watch the reverse angle here. How hard is this hit?
Watch all the backsides come up out of the sled.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was the hardest hit we've seen. That's where the lead went.
We need a mic down there to pick up that thump. Yoon Jong-won drops back. He was only 200s, I beg your pardon, 400s ahead of Sun Kai-chi, 500s ahead of Sun. The current leader was Frankie Del Duca from the USA. First ever race as a driver in Europe. His last race in Europe, Moritz as a brakeman in 2017.
Decent start for this makeshift team. 5:17 in the first run. 5:13. Unbelievable. For these guys, I mean, some of these teams coming down have 30 races together. These guys, this is the first time they've ever raced together as a team.
Yep.
Good proficiency getting the sled. That's that brand new push track that they have at Lake Placid, indoor push track. The U.S. have had pretty good starts in four-man, just no results yet. One more sled coming up, but this is Del Duca's first ever race, first ever time being on this track.
You know, we would have said top 12 in your first four-man World Cup. That's a great result. He doesn't think so. He wants top 10. Really nice stuff from Frankie Del Duca. Yeah, but not as bad as one.
Watch out.
2200s. Still
this
got
is
the
a
lead.
spectacular run.
Top 12
First
guaranteed.
time ever. First time ever result. That's pretty awesome. 11th place.
A sensation. Well, John, he came in full of confidence. 10 wins out of 13 races in North America. Yes, tracks that he knows, but...
Listen to the... I mean,
I'm learning, I'm trying.
Awesome. Former brakeman, got to the front seat 3 years ago. The USA needs about 5 more of these guys to make that venture, that challenge from the back seat to the front seat, and pretty impressive. He crashed in his first day of training in two-man. You know, didn't get very good starts in the two-man. Pretty impressive, Frank Del Duca.
Good stuff from all of the crew, and knocking on the door of the top 10. They were 500s behind Christoph Harfer, who ends up in 11th. They were 600s out of 10th. Let's see
Watch out here. If he doesn't get a 25 or 24 start, he's going to be a 20. So he's much improved also at the start. But he's got to watch out. I mean, he should beat Del Duca. I mean, this is a veteran. He's won World Cup medals.
And he's a German in Germany.
Yeah, 800s
back.
He had a bad first run, Martin, so he should take this down and be the leader.
Yeah, they found 800 at the start as well.
Only 11.
That's growing.
Wow.
Speed's not great.
How many World Cup starts has he got, Martin? 15, 20?
If I'm René Spies, this is his 13th. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. This is his 4th World Cup.
Yeah, he's coming back. 800s. He gets it to 200s here, 300s, 5. He's got a chance. It's going to be close.
It's going to be very close indeed to the 100th of a second. Just 300s in front.
That's okay. That's great. I mean, Hafter should be up there in the top 5 or 6. He's 6th in World Cup points. You know, he's been sniffing podiums for most of the season.
Fourth here in Winterberg. In the top 10, Christoph Harfer.
4th, 8th, and 9th the last 3 runs, 3 times out in the World Cup. And, you know, the experience down below, that's where he took the negative, the red time to the green time. Now remember, Del Duca hit between here, and look at Hafter, feathers it perfectly. Yep. So he comes straight down there, and Del Duca, who's got, that's his 5th four-man trip ever in the history on this, for his history on this track.
So Christoph Harfer leads from Frank Del Duca and Sun Kai-chi of China. 10 down, 10 to go. Ivo de Bruin, big day. John, how many times have we been here before in Winterberg with the Dutch needing a top 8 on what tends to be their favorite track with Jelen Francic, with Dennis Benker and Joost Dumas. They need everything in this run.
Yeah, the start is suspect, 7, and he drove himself into the medal. I mean, this is one of the, how many World Cup starts? He's got like 80 World Cup starts. He's one of the most experienced drivers in the field. You know, this is the Dutch Alps. That's what they call it.
11th World Cup on this track. He needs 1 top 8 finish.
And he's got to be the World Cup breaking 12th, which he's not at. But
he needs to
got to come through here.
2 more places.
Best speed, though. 1100th back. He's really got to be perfect through here. And he is.
Lot of Dutch fans with their fingers crossed. He really needs good speed down the bottom.
Oh,
that is good.
He's going to fall 2 spots. Second best speed, he's going to fall twice.
He is 300s between the top 2. He drops, and it is a top 10 result guaranteed for Christoph Harfer. But Ivo de Bruin will have to go to St. Moritz, and it will be sudden death.
Well, the Dutch put severe standards, result standards to qualify for the teams.
Yeah.
Unless you're in speed skating, which they're one of the world dominant powers with that other.
Well, and that's why,
you know, blades
that's
on
where
the
it all
sport.
comes from.
Yeah, he's 18th right now in points. He's going to move up a little bit, Martin. He's going to get ahead of Treichel, I would think, because Treichel's not here. But
and may not be in St. Moritz. I'm not sure what the deal is with Marcus Treichel and his crew. Certainly Benny Meyer's crew had a COVID case, and they may not be the only ones. All right, so Ivo de Bruin slips 2 spots. Christoph Hafer and Frankie Del Duca tied together as one. First and second with 9 to go. 1 slip from anybody now. Del Duca's top 10 finish becomes a reality. Oskars Kivimanis of Latvia next up. 62nd 4-man World Cup, his 12th here. As we said in the first heat, the man at the back, Intars Dambis, his 177th bobsleigh race.
just figure that out. Put that in perspective. I mean, he's been around since 2003. That's unbelievable.
And the most you can do in a season is 13 races, 14 races.
His favorite movie,
No,
that guy Dambis?
Yeah.
Martin, his favorite movie? The Terminator.
Terminator? Yeah. Well,
he looks like it. He looked like it. I mean,
he keeps coming. He never gives up. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Quarter second lead. Expect this.
Run. Yeah,
this is what you expect out of this guy. He's been underperforming all year, and I still have faith he's going to do something at the Olympics, Martin, because this guy he's got the sleds, the experience, the talent, the equipment. He's got everything. 55, 18.
7th best speed.
Sandis, look at the coach, Sandis Prusis. He's been the coach for about 18 years. He was a legend in his own right in the Latvian program. And remember, the Latvians won the gold medal in 2014 in 4-man. They won a bronze medal in 18. Melbardis did both, but he's retired. They do everything right. This little small nation of 2 million people, and they're tops. They just won the World Cup men's luge race yesterday. You know, little small, tiny nation on the Baltic, and they're a dominant power. Bobsled, luge. Some guy named Dukars won the men's skeleton race here Friday. That was his 60th gold medal in skeleton. Yeah. So Latvia is some impressive country in the sliding sports.
Well, impressing us a lot this season again. Rostislav Gajtukovic, one of the coming men last year, one of the arrivals this year. Mikko Moritz, Pavel Travkin and new boy Alexei Laptev on the sled. A former brakeman. His debut was in Lake Placid, told the story in the first heat. His driver, Maxim Angerov, who he's racing against today, crashed in the first heat, broke all 3 brakemen, and Rostislav was one of the 3 replacements for the second heat. Look at that.
And, you know, this is one of the stars of the year for me, him and Brad Hall from Great Britain, who's coming up. Both these guys, this guy won a World Cup 2-man gold last week in Sigulda. He's medaled in 4-man here. 5th, and you know, he's just a coming star for Russia. And that start time,
world champion on this track in 2020. He was 4th here a couple of races ago. That was in February last year. 2300's up. Big advantage building here, John.
Didn't have a good first run, Martin. Should have been better than where he is, but this is a good run. When you separate the other sled by 3/10. Wow.
Best speed of all. Yeah, wiped the floor with the Latvians. Absolutely wiped the floor. Quarter of a second better. I beg your pardon. 3500s better in one run than Oskars Kivimanis.
Watch him get in here. Watch him get in here. Watch this proficiency. You know, get in with, we call it choreography on ice. And you need to be before this zero curve. That wasn't perfect. The brakeman's still struggling, so I'm going to give them a B- there. Because that little movement going into that chink curve, but of course they had the best start, Martin, but still, as we, on this track, every 100th.
Rostislav Gajtukovic, you may not be able to spell it. Look for it if you want to put $1 on a dark horse. He's your man, I think. Chris Spring next up for Canada. One of the veteran drivers with Mike Evelyn. Cody Sorensen, the brakeman, returned this season after 7 years away. Sam Giguere, similarly, playing a lot of football in CFL and occasional bobsledder. 5:17, it's all coming together.
Yeah, everybody's getting better at the start. Got Sam Giguere, CFL player. He takes a couple years off, then comes back for the Olympic year and the Olympic year. Very experienced. Mike Evelyn's, we always talk, he's an electrical engineer. I like engineers in the sport. And the driver, well, he's as good a driver as there is in the field. You know, he gives up a little time at the start, but he's got to depend on his eyes and hands, and he's doing that right now. He's got the depth, and he's got the best speed. Ooh. He made a mistake there, though. This is right to the 100th. That mistake.
Yeah.
He made the mistake between 9 and 10. That's what cost him.
He's not going to catch him, is he? He's going to be second behind the Russian by 900ths of a second.
Okay.
A little bit more snow blowing in, but...
Yeah, there's snow coming in. This is going to be a... you know, as we get down to the last 4 sleds.
All right, that's no worse than 8th for Chris Spring. And where was he in the races in December? He was in the teens, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he's improved. He's coming on. Here's the mistake, though. Watch him tap the right, his left. That little tap right there didn't seem like much. He was dead even there, and then the next clock, he's 500ths back. So that tap right there was worth the 5. Team looks a little rough back there, though. Right?
13th and 15th he was in December. He's going to be no worse than 8th. Snow continues to blow here in Winterberg. Maxim Anginov, Rostislav Gajtukovic's former driver, now trying to beat his young former brakeman. He had a 2200s advantage, Anginov.
He's tied with Hunter Church, who's coming up.
Yeah, tied for 5th.
No.
Let's see. First of all, he's got to beat Gajtukovic. Gajtukovic, a 54.83, the quickest of the heat so far. Anginov has to pretty much match that. 5:16, they give away 700ths at the start to their rivals.
Yeah, but they had the second best velocity. I think they matched the velocity, which is important. They had a better load into the sled than their teammates. This guy here was doing it in training, Martin, especially in 2-man, but of course in the training they don't check your runners or the weight of your sled or anything. He's the more experienced pilot, and he doesn't like it that his former brakeman emerged as Russian 1. So he might try and extract revenge in this run. And this is the race within a race. 900s. Best speed. Watch the crossover. Perfect. This is a good run. This could be his best finish of the season, Martin, depending on the next couple sleds coming up. Best speed in the finish. He made a statement here. Sort of told his brakeman. Yeah, the race within a race, but that's Andrianov's best finish of the year, Martin, no matter what.
Yeah. 7th place in race 1 in Altenburg is best up to this stage. He will be no worse than 6th, no matter what else happens. Gajtukovic, though, 4th in World Cup rankings. Anginov, the second best Russian, is 9th in the rankings.
Yeah, there wasn't anything wrong. Look at the helmets. Good aerodynamic. They aren't shaking around in there. They're all comfortably riding in the sled, which not all teams do. Now watch him hit the left side of his right. Very mild tap. Very mild tap, Martin, going into that finish curve, going uphill.
Yeah.
Could lose a lot of time there.
It's going to be his best result of the season. It's a Russian 1-2, 5 to
go. Look how quickly they're going. Martin, look how quickly the American team's going. They know the snow's coming down. As soon as this light's green, they're going. Good strategy.
Well, listen, 5-6 years ago, this would have been Stephen Holcomb in the top 5 in the snow going for the medals. This time, it's Hunter Church with Josh Williamson, Chris
Best start.
Wow.
Best start of the competition. Awesome.
All right.
Hunter at the second best start in the previous race here, had the 19th best downtime, fell out of it. Chance for a medal. He was top 5 in that race to start with in the first heat. This is the biggest heat of his life right here. This is a statement run for Hunter Church. He's got 2/10 lead.
These sleds were tied to the 100th at the bottom. Andrinov, the veteran Russian.
Lost a little 100th back, 3rd best speed. This is enough. Perfect, gets through that 9-10 combination. He's gonna be the leader, Martin.
Nice looking lines from Hunter Church. Yes, he will lead. It is a top 5 result for Hunter Church in the USA by 1800s. Breaks the tie.
Watch how happy these guys are gonna be. Americans having a lot to be happy about so far this season. They're gonna be happy about this, no matter what happens.
Previous best result, a pair of 8th places here. That is top 5 guaranteed.
You got a start time, the best start time. I mean, that's something to work with. I mean, on this short 1,200-meter track. So this is something the United States hasn't had all year. Hunter's had some good first heats and bad second heats. Same with Cody Basque. This is the first time that the Americans have put 2 heats together. Well, start time, baby.
The season on this track. It's all starting to gel for Hunter Church. What about Brad Hall for Great Britain with Big T, Taylor Lawrence, Nick Gleason and Greg Cackett? One more push and then a couple of weeks to rest up those tired bones and injured bodies.
Watch this, Martin. There was a 5:08. These guys could do 5:06. They had the best start in the first run. If they don't try and overrun.
In, down, 5:10, that'll do.
Americans went better, the Brits went 100 slower. But the best velocity, you see that they had better velocity there too, Martin. Even though the second best start, they had better getting in the sled. Yeah.
Right, he had a 900s advantage over Hunter Church. It's down to 8. He lost speed early on in the first run. He's losing speed early on in the second.
Silver medal in this race the last time they were here. His first ever medal in 4-man. He said medals in 2-man. He said a breakout year.
Russian sleds were the fastest all the way down. Brad Hall, 700s out of the medals. Needs something very special here, but he might not hang on from Hunter Church. Church might kick off the place here. Oh, just hangs on.
Still, good result. Great result for the United States. It's about the start time for them. For the British, it's about their start time. They have a chance to compete with the big dogs when you got to start like that.
5th and 2nd here in December. No worse than 4th today.
Aerodynamics, number 3 is up too high. Number 3, he's up too high and compared to the number 2 guy. Here, this was a hard hit. No, it wasn't. Take that back. A little bit of the back end coming up, hardly. So everybody taps there, just a question, how hard do you tap?
So Brad Hall the leader, there's Greg Cackett. 3 to go. So for the medals, we have a dead heat for 2nd place after the first run. 2 tenths away from the lead, 700s ahead of Brad Hall. A messy first few corners here is going to rob one of these next sleds of a medal potentially. Hansi Lochner and Justin Cripps were tied. Lochner goes first.
In, down, don't try and overrun. Great start, 5:12 4th, only the 5th best velocity though. They had a great load, Mark, but a very conservative run.
Well,
hard to believe
it away before corner 5.
Americans and British both outstarted the Germany number 2 sled. Boy, that hasn't happened in years.
The Americans and the British, John, are separated by just 400ths of a second at the bottom. If you don't have a great run, you could drop behind both of them.
Yep.
7th best speed, not great for
8
Lochner.
back,
Currently,
not doing it. He's not going to do it, Mark.
Back will be 3rd. Well, what is the bottom of the track going to give him?
8, he's holding on. It's not going to be enough. He's going to fall 2 spots.
It's not going to be enough. He's going to drop 2 spots. He does drop 2 spots by 100th behind Hunter Church. Another medal for Brad Hall and the crew. And 2 to go. Listen, this is knife-edge stuff.
Yeah, Lochner just hasn't been doing it. You know, he just has a very erratic second, the first event of the year. Second, one of these races here. 21st in Altenburg, they made a mistake at the start. You know, Martin, I mean, this is a perfect load choreography on ice, A+ there, but didn't have the start that the Americans and the British did. He lost to the Americans by 100. He lost to them by 200 at the start.
500 cover the top three. I mean, this is ultra close. And there was nothing between this man and Hansi Lochner in the first heat. Justin Cripps, Cam Stones, Ryan Summer, and Ben Coakwell. Can they take a medal here?
No mistakes allowed.
The silver medalist in race 1 in December.
Ooh, drift. 5:12, 13th best velocity. He's going to have a lot of problems here maintaining his position. This means Hunter Church could get a medal here. If he doesn't have...
Church has one 4-man medal from Lake Placid.
This could be Cripps can't make any more mistakes.
900's back. John, he is 4th on the splits. He's going to drive his way into the medals. Second best speed at the Kreisel, though.
This is going to be
close.
11, he's coming back a little bit.
1100's back. He's coming back.
Right there, big skid, he's not going to do it. Done.
He's going to be 4th at the line. The top 3 are covered by 500s. Not only does he drop out of the medals,
medal for the United States, medal for Great Britain.
Unbelievable. 4th at the line. It's a silver for Brad Hall and the crew.
Unbelievable.
2 sleds tied for the silver. They both make mistakes early and both drop out of the medals. Did you ever?
They ran too far here. Watch the sled come to the left. See how everybody gets in. Normal, bang. This is a very experienced Canadian team here. They start drifting
way
to the left.
Drive lines.
Now, drive lines, and now it's hit before the first curve. The runner, then down here at 9. This is the worst trip I've seen Cripps ever have, 9 to 10 here. Almost tips over, then this is where it just skids away.
Well, that
second
looks like
World
a season
Cup
1 Monobob run. Next up, final sled in Winterberg. Final sled on ice. Francesco Friedrich, Torsten Margis, Candy Bauer, Alexander Schuller. 71st World Cup 4-man race for Friedrich, the double winner here in December. Torsten
508's the best start. See if they get 508. 508. The Americans have the best start, tied the best start of the day. We haven't seen that since Steve Holcomb in 2010 with the Americans with the best start.
They started 496 in the first heat, this crew. That's 1,200 slower. They are being very cautious not to give it away early on.
Well, with the lead he's got, that's why they were cautious. The only way they could lose is
2,700s over Brad Hall. It's out to 3,300s. That gap should grow. Doesn't have as good speed as the Russian sleds, but as quick as almost anybody else. 3,300s. Nope.
Just another day at the office for this guy.
Win number 7 of the season. Gold for Friedrich. It was almost never in doubt. His 22nd World Cup 4-man win. And that makes 39 4-man medals to go with the 60 that he's earned.
When was the last time he lost 4-man, Mark? He's gone calendar year 21.
Barely in living memory. Barely in living memory. Well, didn't lose one last year, hasn't lost one this year.
He's got 12 straight at least, plus it's unbelievable. This guy just keeps
plus the
doing
previous World Championship, so that's 13 plus. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's just another day at the office. Hello. He'll go shake hands with the guy who finished last. He'll shake hands with the guys who finished second, third. He'll congratulate the track crew. He'll go over and thank the person that gave him a cup of coffee in between heats. Just
he'll even talk to us. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, such a nice guy. It's just, what a sportsman, what an elite athlete. Just, what can you say?
I mean, I know, it's just unbelievable. His abilities, physical, mental. Okay, last time he did not win, February 2020. St. Moritz, he was 5th. There you are, there's the answer. That's the last time he did not win in a 4-man.
2 years.
Nearly 2 calendar years. Brad Hall, silver medal. Hunter Church, bronze, his first medal outside of the USA. Hansi Lochner,
No, he got one in Innsbruck. Hunter got one in Innsbruck. Yeah. Congratulations to those guys.
Congratulations, yeah. Maxim Angelov
We're on a German track
ahead of Guy Tukovic.
We're on a German track.
One German on the podium.
Yeah, which is, hey Martin, this is our last event of the year, you and I.
It is.
Congrats.
My final bobsleigh until the Winter Olympic Games. John, enjoy your trip to St. Moritz. What a glorious place to be. That's where we'll be sliding next week. Francesco Frigic will, as ever, be a favourite. Alexander Schuller doing the bunny ears. How much fun are these guys having? Well, they're having as much fun as we are.
Look at the size of the two guys. Look at the size of these guys getting in this sled. And look at the proficiency they get in the sled. Now watch them get down.
As we say so many
times. Talk about choreography on ice or what? Look at this.
In a normal room, Francesco Frigic is a big man. With his crew, he looks small. And that tells you all you need to know about the beasts. Yeah. And that is it for Winterberg in Germany. Francesco Friedrich remains unbeaten now in 2 seasons, bar next week. Justin Krips lies 2nd. Rostislav Guy Tukovic in 3rd in the World Cup standings, moves ahead of the absent Benny Meyer. And Brad Hall in 4th place also moves ahead of Meyer. And with the positive test this week, not sure whether Benny Meyer will be in St. Moritz or not. We will have to wait and see. There are a few more positive tests coming up out of the Innsbruck Europa Cup weekend as well. So there are all sorts of factors coming in. 28th there, Frank Del Duca. What a great weekend he has had here. His first driving weekend in Europe. I mean, didn't do Europa Cup, nothing. Has raced only on North American tracks in this last crazy 2 seasons. What a great start to a career for him as a driver. And that's it. My thanks to the entire TV crew. Thanks, of course, to John, to Greg West, and to you for being with us. I hope you enjoy St. Moritz. Wherever you are, I hope we will have a great Winter Olympic Games in Beijing as well. And until the next time we meet, from me, Martin Haben, thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
They kept